Sweet. That always makes me happy. Step into the miraculous this afternoon with Joan of Angels. I'm your host. I'm a luminary and visionary artist that helps you live your best life. So guys, if you are new to the channel, please like, share, subscribe so we can grow our tribe and reach more people who are ready to shift into their purpose. And we have quite a treat for all of you today as we're gathering. We're going to be speaking with Neil Gaur, one of my favorite people on the planet, in just a few minutes. He's the founder of PortalToAscension. We are going to talk about personal transformations, and you're going to get to meet a favorite being of mine who is actually living on his purpose. So very inspiring. So meanwhile, I just wanted to share a little bit. I formed the Miracle Makers Club 20 years ago when my kids and I lost everything and we really needed miracles. And Spirit guided us to learn how to walk what I call the miracle path and to open doors to have a happy, fulfilled, soulful, purposeful life by stepping into the miraculous. So these shows are dedicated to opening our heart and reaching the higher dimensions. And you can reach us every week. Monday, we're live Monday nights for Miracle Mondays at 7 p.m. And we are going to be live on Wednesdays, 420 Spiritual Living, and also throughout the week. So one of my specialties, guys, and I'm really excited to announce this. I'm just announcing my online Intuition Ninja Superpower class. So you might go, well, what is that? So these are treacherous times that we live in. They're the kind of times that you have to be able to access the wisdom from your innate intelligence, from your intuition, from your higher power. You have to be able to access that information quickly. You have to be able to evaluate it and act upon it and know that it is true. Intuition is life-saving, so learning to trust your gut is really a powerful ninja superpower. So we're going to put up the screen if we can get it and show you a little bit about that class and put up the links for that. We're going to try and we'll see if that happens. And if not, then you can access it from the link over there. It's a 8-session class, and it's all about how you can determine also whether you are clairvoyant, whether you're clairaudient, what your real superpower is. So there we go. Okay, so let's scroll down that a little bit. And this is what you'll get when you get the class, the intuitive ninja superpower. Because why? These gifts of intuition are like a superpower. They give you that little extra special oomph that we need to handle today's life. So if you go right there, you can access the class. I'm just launching it today. 7 classes that will awaken your intuitive ninja superpowers. You'll have access to our Facebook group. You'll have access to 1 or 2 lives that I'm going to add in there, and you will love it. So if you're someone who wants to access your intuition, go for it. All right. Thank you, Tina, for setting that up for us. These are all the things that are included in the features. Good. Perfect. Thank you very much. Now we even got it better. Tina and I are really exploring this modality. Thank you. All right. So with that in mind, I want to tell you a little bit about Neil. Okay, Neil is a very special friend of mine. That's why I am bringing him in. We have the great ability where we know how to collaborate together, speak our truth and our heart. And he has spent the last 20 years exploring ancient mysteries, the nature of consciousness. Okay, he formed a platform called PortalToAscension, which provides a stream of awareness on all sorts of topics of consciousness, empowering, paradigm shifting topics that you will not see anywhere else in media and event production. So he's a resource to awaken to the truth of our existence and to explore the nature of reality and the cosmos. He facilitates also, so this year you'll see he's doing a lot more of his own work. He facilitates sound healing activations with his wife Soul. He explains how ancient civilizations use sound tools and the science behind sound and what it means for our future. He's also an amazing rap and sound artist, and I'm just excited to bring him on. So Neil, let's bring you on.
Hello.
And recently you've been on the other side introducing me.
I know, right? Thank you for having me, Joan.
Oh my God, it's my honor, Neil. How are you doing?
Doing pretty good.
And what are you doing these days? I don't think you've retired yet, right?
No, this is just the beginning. We just did the hybrids conference that you were a part of. Just ended on 2 days ago now, on Sunday. That was pretty cool, and that was our first ever hybrids conference, which was exploring the topic of ET hybrids, DNA manipulation over time, everything from ancient history to government programs to people that claim to have some sort of memory for having hybridization. So that was great, and as you know, it was very like community oriented event and very heart centered, and everybody had a great time there, and it was like something that fueled my soul for me to keep going forward.
You know, I have to say something about your events. I'm always happy to participate in your events. You have an amazing tribe that actually is active with all the questions, but also you created heart centered. I can't explain exactly how you do that because, you know, I've been on many programs and they're not heart centered like this. I'm not sure if it's the panel discussions that you have every evening but you have a way of having a community share that I think makes your program special.
Yeah, I feel like because the bottom line of everything that we do is really, truly because there is the potential and the opportunity to make a huge shift on the planet so that we can be empowered and we can live in harmony with ourselves, each other, and the planet. And since that's like the bottom line of everything we do, I feel that those are the type of people that get attracted to the platform and speak on the platform. And so the first intention of everything that we share, you know, before the way we have things set up as business, before the speakers are presenting the information, is the intention to provide knowledge and awareness that can help that person in their own life, you know?
So everything is really geared about personal. So let's just backtrack for a minute. I love the hybrid conference, and we can talk about that because first of all, I know I've been a hybrid, but I had no idea of all the superpowers. So here I'm promoting a class, Intuitive Ninja Superpower. And then I think the next thing is the hybrid ninja superpowers, because you're bringing in this advanced information and wisdom. So my question is, how did you actually develop into this master teacher that you've become? Because that's what I feel. Like, how did you get there?
Well, I feel like I'm still on my way to get to that point, you know? Because I don't really feel I'm quite there yet, but I'm definitely on the exploration to get to a level. And the reason why I'm even on that journey to get to a level of, like, I guess, mastery of myself and my environment, right, is because of my traumas from my upbringing, really, that I wanted to explore ways and modalities to heal myself. Everything that I had tried didn't work. I quickly found out a lot of information about spirituality when I went down the ancient civilizations route, and learning about ancient history and the spirituality of ancient history took me down that route that immediately brought me to the realm of ancient quantum physics. And that made me realize that there is sound frequency, this frequency technology and vibrational modalities, even Reiki or whatever, that could lead to assisting me in empowering myself and like bringing harmony to my traumas, right? So because of that, that's kind of where it all started. And now I'm at a point where I'm still on that journey. I've done a lot of work there, but my events are becoming more and more intentional in regards to elements that I know that I want to incorporate into my own life, right?
I was wondering how, because you have such a diverse range of subjects, how you come to the ones that you're doing. And it kind of dawned on me, you're a spiritual seeker.
Yeah, I'm very curious, Joan, as you know. I'm just I just want to know, like, especially the history of humanity and where everything comes from. Like today alone, I watched up until 3 o'clock, from 6 a.m. to 3 p.m. I was watching documentaries on the Greek city-states, nonstop, Sparta, all the stuff, because I like want to know how everything happened and who interacted with what. And my curiosity has led me to creating all these events. And and doing entire like 2-day events exploring one topic, for example.
Well, I like that. I really love the deep dive. Also, there's so many brilliant people on the planet who have these gifts and are unusual, like hybrids or these interdimensional folks. So I think you give everyone a I think you're giving more and more platforms to people.
Yeah. Well, the original intention when I first started creating PortalToAscension, and specific speakers were coming on our platform. William Henry in the early days, Laura Eisenhower. The first 10 events Laura Eisenhower ever did were PortalToAscension events.
Wow.
Dr. Dream, even up to this day, which is a decade after we did our first event, 12 years after we did our first event, we still did more events together in 1 year than he's done ever since then. So it's like the amount of events that I've done with people in the beginning was really designed to provide the linear aspect of production so that the speakers could remain in their creativity. Okay, so that was the original intention, was creating a platform and an organization that will handle, ticket sales, doors, websites, travel if we're doing a live event, or creating some sort of mechanism where they can just show up and we handle everything else. That was the original intention around 2008 to 2010. And now at this point, we've become, I think, a resource for many speakers where we are a one-stop shop and also a full-on production company where we can offer speakers, like say that they just want us to cover a couple of things that they're doing, so that they won't have to handle it themselves. We can do that, or we can handle full-on production. So exactly what you were basically saying is that I definitely feel that part of PortalToAscension's mission and my mission is to provide the linear aspect of event production for these speakers that have so much information to share.
Well, yes, you do that, and you do that wonderfully well. And I also notice that now every conference, you also offer your own take on the history. So, you are sort of taking all this information in, and I'm impressed. I'm so impressed. Like when you go through the history and then your poetry in motion and now your sound class. So how do you have time for all of this? Just curious.
I feel like there's more than enough time for everything. There's just so much time in the day. We just need to use it efficiently. And instead of having a mantra saying like, oh, I don't have enough time for this, or you can even ask Soul, like almost from the beginning, my mantra was that there's more than enough time to do whatever I want.
I'm going to borrow your mantra.
And even now, I relax a lot, believe it or not, right? I go float therapy like 2 to 3 times a month. Sometimes I get massages twice a month. I drink good juices, so I have a good balance, I feel. And sometimes if I've been working hardcore, because as you know, like I've done conferences that are 3-day conference backed, and then right after the 3-day conference, 10 hours a day, then I do a 5-day conference with 1 day in between for 10 hours a day again. And then I'll just be like in nature or doing something on the mountain or something like that the next 2 days, so got to keep that balance. But one thing I did realize is being up here on the 5th floor in my building is that some days I don't leave the house, especially during COVID. When I was doing events, I was online doing 10-hour events. So now I've created a balance that every time I start an event that starts at 10 a.m., I make sure I get up a little earlier and I go take a 10-minute walk outside. And then after the event, I'll make sure I walk as well. So you got to keep that balance.
All right. Well, actually, that's really, really important. And guys, I know a lot of you are out there listening who are fans of Neil, and this is a perfect opportunity if you have any questions for him about what he's doing, what he's up to, or his thoughts on things. So Neil, did you have an idea when you were younger? I'll just explain this to you. I always knew something was different about me. Okay. I just was I'm still not like anyone else I know. And did you have that kind of feeling about yourself? Like, what did you think about your future or what you were doing?
I felt that there was something off and something missing in the world. I don't have my memories as a child are very, very all over the place. And I have still frame pictures. I don't have full memories. And that comes from a lot of my traumas as a child and just the way I process memories. But I do know the feeling that something was off, feeling disconnected and kind of alone at sometimes. And I think that was my original thoughts that led me to being curious about my religion, because I wanted to know where I came from and how this all came about and how all these religions came about and how all this division came about in the world. So as I started exploring that, it was really coming from the idea of like, who are we? What are we really here on this planet for? Why are we in this solar system in space, completely like awoke to ourselves and sentient beings? And there's this whole vast universe out there. Why are we awake? You know? So those questions are what led me into my first level of research. And then that quickly just took me down the rabbit hole, and I went, to the extraterrestrial thing as well.
Well, and I was going to ask you about that. So have you had extraterrestrial contact?
I would say that I've had it, but not consciously, right? Probably maybe intentionally on one level, but not like, how some people explain they came to by my bed or they spoke to me. Nothing like that. But through dream states, I've had some distinct dreams that were definitely that. And I've had maybe 3 sightings that were just like unexplainable sightings. Mm-hmm.
So, I do have a theory that people with an extraordinary consciousness has had ET contact. And those dreams are usually just a memory being imprinted, because that's been a lot of my contact. But I have to say that the best ET contact I ever had was the night before your first live event in Orange County in 2000 and
November 2012.
Oh, November 2012. And the night before is when I had a huge ET contact, and I was surrounded by ETs. And I think it was brought on by knowing I was going to the event, because I saw the exact ET there.
Yeah.
So I think that's interesting. So you didn't really you don't have memories as a child of ET contact or hiding in the closet or anything.
No, and that's the thing. I have so few memories from my childhood that if something happened, it could have happened. I won't remember it.
Got it. Mm-hmm. I don't, people who've had difficult or dysfunctional childhoods don't remember.
Yeah.
And I have very little memory, except for actually the paintings would talk to me. Mm-hmm. And I would see beings in the paintings. And that was probably the saving grace. I would do anything to have my paintings move and talk to me.
Yeah, yeah. In some ways, I'm like not only on a journey to remembering my divine self, but I'm also on a journey to remembering my life, So like the modalities that I do and the meditation techniques, sound and all that stuff, they help me in having that that memory. When I go to Vipassana meditation, that I know we spoke about multiple times, so you know about Vipassana, right? The 10-day silent meditation retreat. Whenever I go to Vipassana, because I'm in silence, there's this magical thing that happens that your unconscious mind, your subconscious mind starts blending with your conscious mind on like day 3 of complete silence, because your conscious mind doesn't have to deal with any of the stimuli that you normally deal with. Plus, you don't have to cook your own food. You don't have to wash your own dishes. Most people get their own showers. It's like so many women and men are even separated to even like avoid that kind of stimuli as well, trigger for a man, right? That you have so little stimuli that all of a sudden your subconscious mind start coming into your conscious mind, and all these memories that you've locked up in there but you can't experience start coming back. So when I first did Vipassana, 2012, 2013, I actually on day 6 to day 10, I was in the 24/7 HD movie of my life that I forgot. Every time I close my eyes, every time, right? So I'll be walking around the grounds in the woods, and then it'll be lunch is over, and then it's time to go meditate. I just close my eyes, and right there, 6 days of silence. So getting back to what I was saying, like I'm on a journey to heal the fractured parts of my consciousness or fragmented parts of my consciousness, so that I can fully remember, not only who I am as a spiritual being, but my experiences in this life. So I can heal the actual physical traumas that occurred to me right here. But I also know that it's not all about remembering. You can still heal traumas without remembering.
Well, you can. That is true. And for instance, you're making me think of plant medicine, because I've been told that with certain kinds of plant medicine ceremonies, you're healing 10 years of life. Like you're replacing 10 years of therapy, basically, in one night. Yeah. So now you're telling me you can do that. So I didn't know that, like what actually happened in those.
Vipassana is more powerful. The first time I did ayahuasca was 2 weeks before the first time I did Vipassana. Vipassana was twice as strong as ayahuasca. your own consciousness, meditation, darkness. And I've done 6-10 days. And every single one of those was much more powerful and life-changing than any of my psychedelic journeys.
That's so interesting to me. Okay. Just because it's a way that I haven't experienced. And I can, I've been in a lot of silence this year. I think most of our audience has. We've been sort of isolated from the rest of the world. And so I'm used to not even leaving the house these days, but 10 days of complete silence, I don't know what that would be like without a radio or, music or,
it's the life-changing experience, Joan, because when we first went, Soul and I, this was early stages, Soul and Neil, right? This was like,
you guys were wild.
Fast-paced mentality. Yeah. Like, haven't really, like, there was a lot going on in our lives, right? So we couldn't sit down and meditate like that, right? Maybe Soul could, but I couldn't, right? And I definitely couldn't sit for 5 minutes by myself. So I forced myself into this experience, and I'm not even being cliche when I say this. Like, if I could do it, anybody could do it. It's literally like I was at a place where I would be one of the people in the world that you would think that couldn't do it. And I went there, I stayed there. After the first few days, like when you disconnect from the outside world and you don't have an expectation of yourself, and you accept that you don't have that expectation of yourself, things can start melting away. But if you have anxiety about you need to be doing something, maybe it'll be a little more difficult. But almost without fail, everybody on day 6 has this kind of like, get me the hell out of here kind of thought. And when you're on day 10 and everybody starts talking again, the number one conversation is like, what day did you feel like you wanted to leave? And all these people are saying like day 6, because on day 6, you're like, oh my God, I've been here 6 days and there's 4 more days left. Get me the heck out of here.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah.
Okay. I think it would happen to me on day 1, but maybe day 2, because that quieting of the mind is really important. And you also mentioned you go into those tanks, right? I know you looked for them out here in the desert too. Is that the same thing for you? That feeling of stillness?
Yeah. So the float tanks, it's like, because there's zero gravity, and it's literally, for me, like the gravity of the world has been lifted from me after I get off a float tank, because there's like no weight for a whole hour, and then complete stillness, and then Epsom salt everywhere. It's like an exfoliation for my skin. It helps my skin glow even more, and I feel like a depth of my voice when I get out of it, like a complete presence. That's what it does for me. So it helps me become present. If there's any stress or anxiety, especially within my body or my mind, pretty much dissipates. So I do that. I try to do it around when I have big events as well, like maybe a couple days before, or if I'm doing a 5-day PortalToAscension conference, like I've done twice in the last year, I'll go like the day after the event, because I've just been in my chair for 5 days, and that right there will completely reset me, like I wasn't in my chair for the last 5 days.
I was wondering how you reset yourself.
I used to eat like not trash, but not well, like not great during events. But now, if I can, I'll start it out with a tea and then a juice, and then I'll like keep drinking my juice for most of the day. Then I'll have a meal later. So I just infuse myself with really good, good nutrients, so that I could be present for the 10 hours. Because in so many events, and you probably haven't noticed this, or maybe you have, because we've done quite a few together, is by the end of the day, I'm exhausted. Like I'm like that, so I need to get the energy, because I got to close the event out, and I want to close the event out with a lot of energy and high vibes. But if I'm exhausted, I can't put that energy in there. So that's why I've been eating very well now when I do events.
It's interesting. We're talking about pacing yourself, and the first 2 days of an event I did with you was a shock to my system, because I realized, oh my God, I'm not prepared. So the last, I think it was the cannabis event we did, or I really learned how.
Cannabis was the last one, yeah.
Yeah, so I really learned the art of pacing, and it's really fun. I have to say, it's really fun being behind the scenes with you on this journey of exploration. That's my whole ET encounters, was trying to understand what had happened to me, and trying to understand how the world really operates, and also to see through the lies of deception. Because it seems to me that the truth is out there, but you sort of have to know where you're looking and dig through this veil.
Exactly. Yeah. And then also when you figure things out, just to be open to your belief systems can change all the time because there's so much new information coming out all the time. So it's like a journey, but we never say we know. We're always on the exploration of the truth because there's so much out there. And if we talk about dimensions, like let's say that we become the masters of the fourth and the fifth dimension, and we feel that we're these spiritually empowered beings. Even within that, who are we to know if that's still a limitation of really the bigger picture, like when we transcend into higher dimensions. And I think on some level that is the case, but there's a lot of people as well on the planet now that have probably completely tapped into all those dimensional awarenesses. But just being open to I feel us being open to our belief systems changing will help us tolerate each other and accept each other even more.
I love it. By the way, we have some friends from Australia, from all around the world. Guys, tell us where you're from. I know Neil's known a lot of you for a long time. I have too, and I'm happy to see you here. It's kind of fun to just chit chat with you again online, Neil, and to tune into what's going on. So what do you think is the future? You're so on the cutting edge. Okay, now we're talking about hybrids. You're doing platforms on what is like portals and Ascension. Like you're even beyond Ascension. Okay, you're like going all the way back to source, I think. And I like your transformation because that's what you're sharing with us. But what do you think is the future for humanity based on, I know it's a big question, but based on what you've learned?
The future for humanity will definitely have to do with part of us educating ourselves in regards to our ancient history and who we've been and learning from our mistakes. There's so many actually elements. That question is so huge that I can completely go on for 30 minutes and just say a bunch of things, right? Like completely restructuring the educational system, figuring out democracy that works, better for everybody. A good example is something I watched today on Rome. Everybody says that the US is repeating itself just like Rome did. But then we watched this documentary in which they outlined all the different elements. There was like 6 different elements of what made Rome fall. Check, 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 check for every single one of them going on in the US right now. Why don't we learn from our history, right? And then that's just the history that we know about in the last couple thousand years. If we go back even further and realize that there have been advanced civilizations that may have not used technology and computers like we have, but had some other level of advancement, whether it was the consciousness, technology, or ability to manipulate energy, and the evidence is out there and we need to explore it properly. Then that completely goes into the organized religion question and the fact that so much of this information isn't released because it goes against what's conventionally accepted through organized religion. So we would have to restructure religion as well. So every time we peel back a layer, there is just something else that needs to be restructured. So what is the one thing that we can do in order to make sure it ripple effects into all of those, is shift our consciousness and empower ourselves to be the spiritual beings that we are, inform ourselves of our divine essence, and prove it scientifically to those who need that. Because some people need to understand it scientifically, because the quantum world is proving more and more that we're all energy and frequency, and all these Eastern cosmologies had this information for quite some time. So just to answer your question again, is the number one thing would definitely be completely provide information that will assist us in shifting our consciousness so that we can live in harmony, right? Because it's not about higher vibrations, because even the Schumann resonance is a low frequency, but it's a good vibration. It's about disharmony compared to harmony. How do we live in harmony with the planet and ourselves? Part of that is going to also have to be checking our damaged and wounded ego and figuring out what we need to do in order to heal these damaged parts of ourselves. The traumas that we experienced as a child, needing to confront those and speak about them and be accepted, whether you're a woman or a man or anything in between, So it's like, what are we going to do in order to get to that point? And that's why I do these events, is because I feel just like putting out nonstop awareness and nonstop information that can lead people to finding something else in their life that can empower themselves to truly be who they want to be, the most authentic version of themselves, will only lead to more and more people like that on the planet. And the more people like that we have on the planet, then we will start changing all these institutions, and our constitutions and all that for this new world.
Right. No, you're absolutely true. And so much of our history has been repressed and lied to and hidden from us. And I don't feel we can have a conscious civilization with all the lies that we like, even just the words that we use. We use the word religion. Well, we all have different connotation, or God, that word God probably is a weird word. Okay. And I'm not even sure it represents what we think it represents, this being that's all knowing and kind and compassionate. I used to think that the God of the Bible was really mean. And I could not get over the fact of how mean he was. I mean,
vengeful God.
What kind of God smites people because he doesn't like what you're eating or doing. And so I think it's going to be, it really is coming. I think awakening is coming face to face with all the limitations and the words that we use and all the restrictions that we have that limits where we're going.
Yeah, exactly.
But definitely the lies, the lies and the way they've hidden our history from us. And now we have to be like really like little gophers trying to figure it out.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting now because there's so much good information out there that is exposing the truth, and it's just out there. People need to know what to search, right? So it's like we're in this world where it seems like there's so much irrationality and delusion going on, but at the same time we have all the answers, so we really have the answers. We just need to implement them. So that's why I'm hopeful, is because not only can we convey information and start movements in like matter of seconds now, right, but we also have the intellect, and we have a lot of discoveries coming out that are changing the paradigm. It just right now still, like you're right, media and the governing authorities and the search engine operators, like overlords, the search engine overlords will literally make it so that you don't find that information, which goes to the original Luciferian contract, which was that you need to show them and give them a way out all the time, and
you show them the evil or the secrets, but then cover it up.
Yeah, like as long as you have available a way for them to transcend out of that thing that you created for them, you can do whatever you want, but you can't make it that they're completely, disconnected from it. And that's why we have all this information out there. So it's just kind of like a balancing act. Really, we need to just outdo the information, and hopefully at one point, because unfortunately, the media doesn't do what they're supposed to do, and there's no true journalism when it comes to mainstream media right now. Right. So, but that is the arm of how we put out information to the world. So what's happened now is there's all these alternative media outlets, right, on YouTube and other platforms that are now have millions of people viewing them because people aren't trusting their media anymore. So as the trust continues to shift and people start moving to other platforms, that's where the information is coming out. So I do see us moving towards, more and more people gravitating towards the information we're sharing.
I think it's kind of funny because the more they censor this, the more the truth keeps getting out, because people just it's backfiring because the censorship is showing, the control. And a lot of people have not seen that control. And, it's funny you were talking about Rome, but it made me remember when all the book burnings used to happen. Yeah. And now they're happening again. If the powers that be don't like what you say about the vaccines or about COVID or about ETs, they'll just turn your switch off. They'll turn your computer off, to censor you.
Yeah.
So that's why this mass awakening, but I do believe a mass awakening is happening more and more every day. And I actually think this COVID, the corona, has actually, this last year and a half has increased it. It's increased the awakening 1,000-fold.
I feel so too.
Either people have gone into fear and they may not awaken, but the other people who are ready are waking up. And it's the same thing with your work, Neil. I think that it's people come to it as they're being activated and called. Not everyone's called today, but maybe they're listening in one thing, and in 6 months they see that workshop on interdimensional portals and they go, oh yeah, I'm ready for that. But they weren't ready 6 months prior. So we're constantly inserting and setting up activation points, I think, for our awakening. And it is faster. I think this work, putting it out in the universe. Like one day I was researching something that someone on one of your platforms said, William Henry. he had been talking about, I think I told you this, he had been talking about the Essenes, the history of it, how they were trying to become like angels. And I went, oh my God, this validates my work. But for the next few days, anytime I turned on YouTube, his show was coming up, the same show, 5 days in a row. Like Spirit had a message for me.
Yeah.
But I wasn't ready for that. I could have listened to that same video a year ago and I wouldn't have had that aha moment.
Yes, exactly. And that's what's happening, because everybody's getting the information right when they need to get it. And things are picking up pace because there's more information out now than there was 20 years ago. Like, that's for sure. And there's more organized platforms out there, and even apps now, and casting to your TV for all types of conscious content. So now that it's out there, people are waking up in even shorter periods of time because they have this awareness, right? And it's like we're at this level now where there's a mass awakening. Like, people were trickling in for many, many decades, but now it seems like there's groups of people that are waking up to truths all the time.
And there's something else happening. I noticed that when I think about something that I want or someone I want to talk to, it happens by the next day. I can't explain it, but it's happening.
Instant manifestation.
Instant manifestation. And I feel that happens at a higher dimensional frequency when we're doing our work. So when we're doing our work, I talked about last night on my show, divine timing or bad timing. You know, there's a fine line between divine timing and bad timing, but bad timing is when we listen to our self and our logical mind sometimes, as opposed to the guidance we receive.
So there's this thing that I read a while ago, forget where it's from, but they were saying that this dimension, right? And multiple people have said this as well. And even I think like people who were in The Secret as well said this, but it goes, this dimension, the equation is thought equals action, action equals manifestation. But when you get to the fifth dimension and you're at that level of consciousness, it is thought equals manifestation.
Directly.
Yeah. So that's what you're talking about right there, is that, you know, back in the day, you have this intention, you need to make a farm, get a plow,
and then you have to
take all this action.
It.
Yeah, because what was there in the beginning? Like, there was the word and there was the thought. Like, everything came from one thought of, as one of my poems say, like, came from one thought of, what if, could I be this, the polar opposite, through the prism we came, you know? So it's like, that was the original intention. So thought equals our vibration and our energy and our whole, you know, thought creates the frequency that then manifests into physicality. But when you get into a level of vibration, it will then become thought equals manifestation. And I feel a lot of people that are living their life in synchronicity and living their passion, they're getting that immediately. But I feel that's where we're all shifting to.
I think that's what I love so much about what you're doing. It really shows, Neil, that you're, you know, it's one thing to say living on purpose. And I teach people, how do we live on purpose? How do we live our dreams? How do we know who we are? But it's another to really have role models of people who are doing that. And so that's like one reason I thought, I'm going to have Neil on the show first thing, because he is doing that. So it is interesting to me that everything you're teaching is really a new paradigm, but yet it's old paradigm. So these are old ancient teachings. I'm sure that the sound healings and the sound technologies have been around for hundreds of thousands of years. And but you're bringing them out in the now. And even all of these tools of technology seem to me as if we're remembering what we actually came here down to the planet with. Maybe that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. I love that. And I love how, like, we are in this planet of amnesia where we don't have complete remembrance, and we've almost set it up for ourselves to try to remember and figure out everything that we chose to forget when we came here. And part of that is figuring out and realizing our divinity.
Yes, it actually really, I think that's the whole basis of it. And I love, you know, it takes time to get to that place, but we did set it up and we did come down here. And if people have forgotten, anyone out there wants to know, these are the times we came here for. We actually came here for this pivotal moment, 2021, 22, 23, where old systems are crumbling and the new ones are happening. And so even the trainings, you know, talking about how to be an interdimensional being are revolutionary. And yet I'm sure that we were more interdimensional in our early lives. before we're in form. So we're just remembering who we are, what we've always done.
Yeah.
And so I always just say we're like fifth dimensional beings in a three-dimensional body or a three-dimensional world, which is difficult. So, as I'm talking to you, I'm really thinking about how this work is changing paradigms, but not just paradigms of one little aspect of society. It's from the changing paradigms from the inside of a wheel, the spoke of a wheel inside is the power. I think people have worked and rebelled on different aspects, like religion or politics or countries. But when you heal it from the inside out, from this hub of the wheel, that's how I kind of think of PortalToAscension. Yeah. And I think of my own ascension as being in the center of this wheel. That's how you're doing it, Neil, in case you noticed.
Yeah, exactly. And that's just because it's like it's a grassroots movement, like we're forming the masses. And then through that, we will raise the vibration, or we'll shift the frequency, and then all the institutions, everything will follow. Because that's what we have in our favor is we are the masses, we are the planet, and that's why we need to realize that we have more in common than we have different from each other. And a lot of these governing agencies and controllers want us to think that we are so divided and we have so many differences, but truly we have so much more in common. And the more that we realize that, the more we can come through in numbers and stop all this aggression and hate and animosity towards each other and truly create like heaven on earth, because we can do that.
No, we absolutely can. And when we think about the controlling group versus the masses, we're 99%. If the planet is controlled by the 1%, so we are the 99%. The problem is, of course, we don't trust our instincts. And also, there's been a lot of programming. And I will say that we're also dealing with mass hypnotic programming of huge masses of the population that may or may not wake up, except they will as a byproduct of this wheel that I see is happening, this hub that's growing. And it's growing in power, it's growing in light. And at the point that there's more light than dark, that is when the spiritual war, because I see it as a spiritual warfare, that's when I feel it's going to be won.
Yeah.
So even taking it personally, then the key to this growth is our own inner awareness, our own ascension.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. And if you look at history and you see the rise of all these different religions throughout history, and you go back every 2,000 years, because almost like when every zodiac shifted every 2,000 years, there was a new religion on the planet. What was the last one 2,000 years ago? Well, Christianity. What's the zodiac? Pisces, the fish. Why do you think Christians use the fish as their symbol? Because we're in the Piscean age, right? And then you look at all the previous ones, and they keep going back. You can relate almost all belief systems in that area, the common belief systems, because there was always ones that were separate and cults within that, right? But you can almost like the common belief system around the planet, even civilizations that were completely like distant from each other by entire continents, for somehow had the similar type of belief systems based on the stars and the astrological alignments over those 2,000 years. So 2,000 years, we can look at history and quantify the fact that there is a new religion on the planet, and it's always in alignment with the stars. That happens every 2,000 years, and the other religion starts dissipating and maybe just becomes a smaller one when this other one takes over. So what are we in now? We're in the age of Aquarius, and it's 2,000 years has passed. So the Piscean age is over. Christianity and the three Judeo-Christian religions are basically on their way out in regards to the organized religion aspects that they have within them. And now it's time for a new belief system. But as prophesied by the Toltec, the Hopi, the Maya, and many other cultures in the world, almost all of them actually, that we are now going into an age where it's not going to be a controlled age based on these organized religions, but a spirituality that's not dogmatic and that is transcending that. Partly, like, for example, the return of the Christ, right? And the return of the Krishna. If you really look into these texts, what they're talking about is the Christ within, the Krishna within. So if that is what they are using to symbolize what the religion of the new age is going to be, to me, that shows that there's going to be a resurrection in consciousness that comes from within us. And that is the new religion. Even though I don't like to use that word, I'm just using it in the context of this. That is going to be the new belief system moving forward.
So I think we do need a whole new dictionary. because I think that certain words have so many limitations now, and we have soul contracts with those words. But I like what you're saying. I think it's true. I do believe that the quote system is having their last temper tantrum.
Yeah.
And it feels like a big one, because what you're saying is that, number one, we are the hybrids who are living here are going to be known. They're going to, the extraterrestrials that we've worked with forever are coming through. The real truth on the planet is starting to be revealed. Mm-hmm. And the ruling classes are being kind of denigrated slowly but steadily. So it is an individual transformation. And I do believe that there's going to be a little bit more fussing, as, I think COVID is one of the restrictions that were placed upon us so that we wouldn't keep it, but it's backfiring is the best way I can put it out.
Yeah. If you look at the ages, the cycles of time, and in the Vedic scriptures, the Kali Yuga and all that, and you look at the dates, and then you look at the fact that even in the cycles of time that was outlined in ancient Hindu scriptures, they say that there's a transition period, and they show it as 100 to 200 years in between every age. And then you look at what happened on the earth at those times, and you'll see there's all this confusion and chaos, and like dark ages, things, civilizations completely go out, right? That's happened like 2 or 3 times in recent history. And then you almost notice that every time we shift from one age to another, there's this transition period where there's kind of like confusion and people trying to figure it out again, even when we're in the higher ages, So to me, when I see this confusion and chaos, I think it's because we've figured out a better way to live on this earth, and we're not happy with the way it is right now. And that is part of what is occurring. So when people are confused and there's chaos around, I see it as growing pains that will eventually lead into something very beautiful. But right now, we're just trying to figure out how we can create that together.
Well, right. No, that's true. The earth is definitely out of balance, and so are its people. And when I listen, I feel like the earth has its own harmonic sound, and each of us has our own tone on the planet. And if we're out of tone, then the sound that the orchestra makes is out of tune. The earth is out of tune. So there's a lot happening. And I love I love that PortalToAscension, Neil, is really on the cutting edge of that. You're teaching technologies that really, really work. And that would have been banned in other cultures and other civilizations. Even our discussions would have been banned, I think, some of them, because it's so far out there. And if you dive into it, you're just going to wake up, is all I can say.
I had a reading once, Joan, that said that in my other life, and I don't go into readings that much, and I don't talk about them because I'm a huge skeptic, but this one I did resonate with hardcore. And I felt that before I even had this reading. This was many years ago. And I was told that I had attempted many lives to bring forward consciousness information, but a lot of times I completely gave up what I was going to do, and almost every single time it was for family,
right?
Like almost like life-death situations or a complete judgment. So I would give it up, and that this life is my mission is to go through with it and not let anything stop me.
I can believe that, Neil, because recently I told you I had a vision of you as Krishnamurti. Sorry to hear that he died 3 years after you were born, but I still think you have part of his consciousness of knowing what you're doing. Yeah, I do. I think that's really true. And it is interesting. It's the right time, though, now. You're not going to be burned at the stake this lifetime. And, we're subject to house arrest or condemned for what you're teaching. And you would have hundreds of years ago or thousands of years ago. And the truth is, we're still teaching the same things we might have taught years ago. And okay, the other thing I want to say is this is the time where, and this is for everyone out there, that those skills, the mission that you came in for all these lifetimes, this is a lifetime you can accomplish it. There's extra special energy here, being the timing, the age of Aquarius, the disruption of the old way. This is the time to implement your visions, your dreams, your mission. There's never going to be a time that you could do it. Just like Neil said, 3D life gets in the way. But this life, everything's awakening. And in your marriage with your twin flame, I think really allows you to live your vision. And this is for everyone. This is a time to do that.
Well, I'll say this, like, about me owning my mission. I was hardcore into this information. 2001 I got into it really hardcore, but 2006, 2008 is when I started trying to put together events. I would do small events. It was just me producing it. No one needed to know my name. Then for a good 3 years past that, still no one needed to know my name. I was just producing events for people, ancient alien events, whatever. And then after like around 2012, 2013, I started doing some interviews where my name was on the internet. And then I went back to a corporate job like 2015. And when I was going back to a corporate job in 2015, I went and searched everybody that put my name out on the internet, and I told them to put it down, take it down, because of all the judgments, because I was going to, like, this job might actually search my name. It was a corporate job, right? So I had to take it off. And also because my dad had said something to me about what's up with all this alien stuff. And like, I had this fear that my family was going to find out I was into these things that are very, very fringe topics for them. So this is like 2015, 2016.
Not so long ago.
2016, I think 2016, 2017 is when I was like, I'm never going to quit Portal to Ascension again, because I quit Portal to Ascension 4 times because I've been doing so many events and making no money and being completely broke and doing tours up and down the West Coast from California to Vancouver and back down 3 times within 2 years with different speakers. And I literally was only making enough money at every city to get enough gas and food to go to the next city. It was like when Soul got with me, I had already been doing this for a year and a half. And then she started jumping on the road with me, and she said, I didn't sign up for missionary work because it was literally like sleep in the car because we can't afford it. Go to a sound healing at this place. Go to an extraterrestrial channeling event with Brad Johnson. We did like 150 events with Brad in like a matter of a couple of years. And so it was just a lot of putting out. So I actually quit Portal to Ascension around 4, maybe 5 times from 2010 to 2016, where I was like, I'm done with this. I need to stop creating events. I need to do what my parents have said. Just get a full-time job. They're right. Spirituality will never pay my bills. I will not do spirituality.
Oh my God.
But then when in 2016, when I did my first online webinar with Dolores Cannon, and it was her last event ever.
Wow.
And then when I did that event, I was like, all right, I'm not going to quit ever again. Here's my resignation letter. I haven't worked for anybody except for jobs that I wanted to do for fun since then. So I gave him my resignation letter, and then I just went full time. But then I made a commitment to myself. I literally said to myself, all right, like, because I've been so wishy-washy in life. I could never finish a task properly. I've been too fast, too ADHD. I couldn't finish school because of that. So I was like, okay, I'm going to make a decision right now. And the decision was, I'll never quit Portal to Ascension again, even if I don't have, even if I'm not making enough to survive, right? I will do something else in order to do that, but I'll continue Portal to Ascension. And now we're up till today, and it's been 5 years, and I've never had a thought about quitting, even though it started 6 years before that.
I love that, Neil. And you're inspiring me, just so you know. And I watched you during that change. I know that you were couch surfing for a period of time, and I kind of didn't understand because I saw that you were working hard and we weren't that close, so I didn't understand what was going on. But it's really good for everyone to know that you had that period of doubt, and you too ran away from your mission and destiny, because it takes a lot, I think, to say yes and to say no to all the judgments around you, your father.
Exactly. And Soul told me to clarify. Soul told me to clarify that I did complete school because what I meant was that I couldn't like finish classes and just be present in school because it just wasn't like resonating with me, you know? So I was just like so all over the place. My whole life I felt like I never finished anything, and Portal to Ascension is almost like my exclusive passion. And through Portal to Ascension, I've been able to go into so many different topics and deal with things that are very healing. And it's not just specific to Ascension, because the reason why I called it Portal to Ascension is because all elements of reality fit within that topic.
No, they do. They do.
Extraterrestrials, conscious nutrition, sacred sexuality. Because what's happening always, we're always ascending or descending, right? And if you're descending, that means you're eventually going to ascend. So technically, we're always on this.
Hopefully, you'll hit rock bottom and turn around and ascend. Thank you, Sol. Sol wants to put her lovely face on and do a wave. I'm always happy to see her. Guys, these two are some of my close friends on the planet. And when I get to see them, we nonstop talk. I don't think I could ever do a silent retreat with Neil because too many ideas pass through my brain. I just have
That's why the beauty is, okay, honestly, you're not supposed to write anything on those retreats, but a few times on day 8, I make a decision. I'm going to be silent until day 8, and then I bust out a notepad and I spend one day writing it down. But check this out. Sometimes I forget to take a notepad or a pen, right? Because I'm like, no, I will not write anything. I'll just be present.
I'm gonna be good. I'm gonna be good.
But then because in the bathroom, you have to put your name on who's going to clean it up, and it's one of those like every single day, one person of the building, because there's multiple buildings, will go and have to like make sure the bathroom's clean, right? It's part of your your service there. So they have one of those dry eraser things, right? So I would grab the dry eraser and a tissue from the bathroom, and I'd be like writing on it like a madman. All my ideas on day 8. Got
it. All right. Or like sort of carve them out on your skin.
Entire conferences have come from that, actually, on napkins at Vipassana.
I'm not surprised. I'm certainly not surprised because I feel like you're having an opportunity to go back to your source experience to bring it through here. People are loving what you're saying, by the way. I just want you to know something. That revelation about it took you 4 times to launch truly PortalToAscension, which I think is just taking off. And I want to congratulate you for 39,000 YouTube subscribers and give you a big hand. And guys, I have only 325. So if you don't mind signing and subscribing to my YouTube channel so I can catch up to Neil. And
post it in the chat too.
Okay, post my YouTube. Yeah, we will, and post it over there. But I would love that, guys. That would be wonderful. And it's right up there, YouTube channel. And Joan of Angels, there's only one Joan of Angels. Thank God. I am only one of me, but I have many consciousnesses. And I've been around a lot of times. And that reminds me that there are other timelines where we're doing this as well. Oh, my favorite, Clavan, tapping in from Phoenix, the Valley of the Sun. Glad to see you too. Clavan's one of my close friends I adore. She's my grandmother from my Egyptian lifetimes. And when I saw her, it was the first thing I said. I was like, oh my God, I think you're my grandmother. So, and she was blunt when she explained what that meant to me.
Wow.
So people are waking up all over. Let us know what you're bringing out right now. What's on the platform for the next few weeks with PortalToAscension?
So we are going to launch a new website, and it is launching right now. It's in the process of finishing.
Oh my gosh, the longest pregnancy ever.
I know. So, but it is definitely launching by the 3rd week of August because everything is done now. Now we just got to do the thumbnails to make it aesthetically pleasing for everyone. So that's launching very soon. But as that is moving forward with doing our events still, we have a lot of events coming up. We have one on the 31st, which is just a few days from now, with Trisha McCannon, Return of the Divine Feminine and Sacred Masculine. Then I'm just going to say a few here, and then I want to talk about a couple of big ones.
Okay, but I want everyone to know I love Trisha McCannon. She is also brilliant, and if you have a chance to see her, guys, this weekend, please do, because her information is always mind-boggling.
Yeah, and that's at PortalToAscension.org. Upcoming events, you can check it out there. And then following her, we have William Henry, Avatar's Awakening. That's going to be an amazing event, 3-hour workshop with William Henry, Celestine Star, Cosmic Earth Changes on the same day in the morning. So it's actually a 6-hour day, but 2 different workshops. Also, Deborah Katz, Remote Viewing in 4 Dimensions. She actually worked for multiple 3-letter agencies as a privately hired remote viewer with her team. And she did some amazing remote viewings for these agencies and talks about it. But this one is going to be a 4-hour class on remote viewing in 4 dimensions and what that means, how you can do it yourself. We've done, actually, in the last year, we've done around 60 hours of remote viewing courses. So there's a lot of remote viewing information on our website. Go to our website, log in, click on remote viewing, and you'll see it.
I
But
saw that.
there's a couple events I wanted to talk about that I'm really excited about, though.
Okay.
I'm excited about everything, but I'm definitely excited about these 3 events that are going to be.
Okay, which 3?
I was planning to launch a website in January. Therefore, I would have done this huge promotional campaign for the whole year of all these events. But now I'm launching in August. I'm deciding to start my entire epic all over the place PortalToAscension trailers and everything starting for these events in October. And the first 2 of them are no charge events, free events. One is the 2021 PortalToAscension conference. And if you guys do not know, the PortalToAscension conference, that's going to be our 5th annual. However, starting this year, we're doing it twice a year. And next year, we're still doing it twice a year. But the second one is going to be a live event, hopefully at Desert Hot Springs, California.
Absolutely, here in the desert. Absolutely.
Yep. That'll be October 2022. But
Right.
so October 1st to October 4th, everyone. This is going to be on the YouTube, so if you're tuning in, go ahead and subscribe now, just so that you make sure that you're on it for this. And that's going to be our 5th annual PortalToAscension conference, around 66 speakers, maybe up to 70 speakers. And there's going to be a UFO disclosure panel, experience panel, Ascension panel, and multiple other workshops and interviews. So I'm excited for that one, because even though I've done it multiple times, I'm going to be completely established enough and structured enough this time to make this even larger than the past ones. And the past ones, we got 8,000 people signed up. So this one, I'm hoping to get 15,000 or more people. That way, the mass meditations are even more impactful the more people you have.
Yes.
And then,
oh my God. Yes.
Yeah, and then you'll be a part of that, of course, and you'll also be not only presenting, but you'll be helping interview as well some people.
Oh, good.
And then this is something that is cutting edge, I believe, for PortalToAscension, and is going to be very powerful. It's going to be a buy donation event. It's on October 9th. And I'm skipping 30 events in between this, guys. So if you want to go to the website and take a look, just go and take a look on PortalToAscension.org. But then on October 9th, we're doing the Depression, Anxiety, and Trauma Release Conference. And that's going to be extremely amazing, because I'm going to have not only some epic information and awareness and people talking about the psychology of human mind, but we're also going to have individuals that are going to do modalities and practices in real time with the people in the audience, so that we can, help release ourselves from, anxieties, depressions, and trauma. And, even if you don't have anxiety or depression, maybe there's some trauma or from past lives, or if you want to learn how to be able to heal and help people who have those. So it's a very grounded event compared to the deeply esoteric information that we usually have, even though we do a lot of grounded information, especially for when it comes to history. But the reason for this is I've had a very depressed, anxious-filled, social anxiety-filled, trauma-filled life. And I'm sick and tired of having that anymore. And even though I'm not at that level that I was before, because it was really debilitating in my past, it still comes up for me. So this event is going to be a free or by donation, because I want everybody to be a part of it. And it's going to be an all-day kind of online retreat with not only next level speakers that completely will shift how you look at these topics, but then also tools that you can take into your own home, in order to help yourself.
I love that. And someone wrote down, it's a trauma release. It's a mass, just like those group collective meditations have such power as they go out in the world. So will this massive trauma release, because I'm sure it's not just everyone in there. It goes out waves to all of the surrounding communities. That's exciting. And then we have a Starseed conference coming up also.
Yeah. So let me tell you 2 more events. Then that one's going to be the second one that I'm going to mention. So then after that, on the 10/10, which is the following day, this one's going to be a paid event, and it's going to be an all-day 10-hour event specifically on the Mayan Empire. And it's going to be amazing, because 3 weeks later, I'm going to be in the Yucatan and the Maya Peninsula. And even though I know a lot about it, I don't know as much as I want to know. So I thought, how amazing would it be, 3 to 4 weeks before I leave, doing a 10-hour event specifically on the Maya from some of the most amazing people in the world, so that I can learn even more before I head out there. So that's going to be on October 10th.
Oh my God. Well, I hope you do a little bit of an event from there too, so that we can
Yes.
see.
Well, actually, I'd have a live show, Joan, that is every Tuesday, and it's on Portal to Ascension, even though I took the last 2 weeks off because of some things I had to handle. And I'm going to do my live show from the ancient sites.
I love that.
Yeah.
I keep feeling that in the future, I want to go wherever you and Soul go. And don't you have a retreat center you're building down there and a sweat lodge that we talked about. And so there's so much happening right now.
Yep.
All right. So are those all the exciting events coming up?
Yeah. And then let's talk about the Starseed Summit one, which is going to be, so everybody, especially if you came to the Hybrids conference or if you tuned into the Hybrids panel, this is the third Wish Alliance Portal to Ascension collaboration of the year. The first one was the 3-day walk-ins conference. Second one just finished, the Hybrids conference. The third one is the Starseed Online Summit. And that's going to be October 30th to October 31st. And we haven't got the website up yet, so it'll be on our website. You can sign up onto our email list so that you get updates on there. But that's going to be like a call out to all the Starseeds, around 9 to 10 hours a day with panels as well. And the intention for that is to just unite these Starseeds together so that we can share and inspire each other. And you're also going to be on that conference as well.
Yes. And by the way, I'm having Sheila, who's one of the co-producers of that. I'm interviewing her tomorrow.
Oh, nice.
And also interviewing Barbara. Very excited to have her on my show too. Yeah, I've just
Barbara Lamb?
Yeah, Barbara Lamb. I'm just so excited to be among the Starseeds and the Hybrids because I feel like I'm with my own tribe now. So I have to say this, Neil, congratulations to you. Okay, because not everyone lives their mission and purpose that the whole world can see how you're doing. And you're taking your hybridness and your mission and your past lives memories and just bringing them for all of us. So I'm just so excited about that. So do you have any last minute messages for everyone? A little last minute.
Yes.
Anything? Yes. What? Tell us.
I'm excited, everybody. There's like this default setting within me that just makes me so hopeful. And I don't even know where it comes from, because even when I see chaos sometimes and when things look like they might not be going right, I have this outlook, and it's a default to see the possibilities and potential that we all have. And that's what really Portal to Ascension is about us exploring a true potential. And as we move forward and these systems start coming down and we're creating new ones, right? It is happening. These systems are created. These conversations are happening now. Some of the conversations may not be the results that you think that we need, but you got to realize we're at the beginning of a 2,000-year cycle within this zodiac just alone. We're at the beginning phases having these conversations, pretty much just the same as a lot of other movements that eventually became whole movements that swept the planet is also had, right? So I'm excited because when I look at the cycles of time, when I look at the years that these things happen, I know that we're just on this upward trajectory. It's happening. And all of this that's occurring right now has been prophesized. There's people talked about it. The reason why they spoke about it is because they knew as well, by looking at the secular nature of the universe and the cosmos, that we were on this cycle, and it's up to us to have the opportunity to shift into this higher dimensional, more harmonic reality. So my message is very simple, that it's going to happen, right? All we need to really focus on is empowering ourselves and finding out ways to include and love others and be compassionate, especially when we see reasons to be divided from them. Like, how can we give compassion and find similarities and unity when we are being told that we should be divided, And that's ultimately, I feel, the more we come closer together in this oneness, the more we're going to have an ability to make some real change on planet Earth.
Wow, that's so well said, and I really agree with you, Neil, and honor all that you and other people along with you, all your teachers and all the people who come and listen, are vibing on the highest frequencies, which is pure love, as Kalavan would say, which I think is really true. So it is just so fun to work with you, Neil. It's so fun to have you in my life. And I have to say one other thing about you. I feel like we're having an intimate chat, even though I know we have an audience. Mm-hmm. And even when you're doing your Portal to Ascension conferences, you create that everyone is welcome. Everyone has some wise information. So thank you for all you're doing. Yeah. I'm thanking you on behalf of everyone. So, guys, we're going to say goodbye to Neil for a few minutes. I want to just give you all a little bit of personal love. Neil, stick around if you don't mind. And all right. Okay. So I am so happy to see all of you, to have Neil on here with us. And I want to thank you. So someone asked if we could have a little brief meditation. And I am so excited about everything Neil had to say that I'm literally so expansive right now. So I just want everyone to take a deep breath in and let it all out. And remember how powerful you are. Okay. Remember that this is the time that you were called, just like Neil has been, or I have been, or you have been called to do that which you came here to do. The gates are opening, and each one of us has our own moments and our own way of stepping into this. And it's a collaborative planetary effort, because every day when we raise our own vibrations, we're raising the vibrations around us, which is what Neil's doing. And I know so many of you are doing that. So I just want you to know that, yes, sign up so you can be to PortalToAscension.org and get all of the information that's coming out. Listen to some of my favorite speakers and come to some of these amazing events, the Starseed event, definitely the trauma release. Go see my friend Trisha McCannon. She's also good. And we're just moving ourselves forward fearlessly with all of this new information. Anyway, I am Joan of Angels, guys. Please like, subscribe, and share my YouTube channel so I can grow and reach more people. And also sign up on my email, please, at joanofangels.com so you can know when I'm doing my own events as well. And think about what it is that your special gift to the world, because that's what we're looking for. That's what you need to do, is what are your special gifts this lifetime? That's why I'm teaching the intuitive class, by the way. That intuitive ninja superpower class is to help you remember who you are, why you're here, and your special gifts. So do that, and you'll be like on the way to doing that which you came here to do, which is what is so satisfying. So thank you so much. I'm so glad to see you every week and to be with you and come back, you all. And I do want to share a little bit of what I've been engaged in. Here I got to show you what just came in the mail from HempWorks. Okay. Look, I want you to know that the shampoo and conditioner is fantastic. If you're not using it, you should use it. Yes. And then I'll tell you what else came today. My fruit gummies, the CBD fruit gummies. When you take them, each one is like 25 milligrams. They are fantastic for you and your body. I take them a couple of times a day. They help with anxiety. Do you take them?
I do. I tend to forget that I have the gummies, but I take my CBD and other.
Oh, you do, right? Right? You do. You take it.
I have some CBD pills, not pills.
Oh, you have the capsules.
I have the capsules, yeah.
Yes, I love the capsules. I also like the relief. This is a cream that we use to put on pain. So it's a topical cream, cooling. And so I use this all the time.
I do too.
So I'm so happy it came. And then I have the tinctures. And some people love using the tinctures, 500, 750, and 1500. So you can get more concentrated doses if you need higher amounts of CBD.
Yeah, I have it in like 6 different flavors.
Which I'm sending this up to my son. I love this stuff.
It smells amazing and it's very luxurious.
I guess that's the word I'd use. It's really luxurious. It's a top quality product with hemp, good for your skin, and enriches it. Okay?
Yeah. So we love HempWorks.
Sweet. Check out my sponsors, everyone, and take care of yourselves. Have a fantastic week, and we will see you all tomorrow, 420 Spiritual Living at 420 California time, and see you soon. Bye for now.